What if your exhaustion is not an accident? What if the constant pressure, the routines, the deadlines, the notifications, the endless repetition of modern life were never meant to fulfill you? What if they were designed to empty you? Franz Kafka once wrote about men crushed by systems they could not fully understand. Invisible structures, cold authority, a world where human beings slowly transform into objects. And maybe that world is no longer fiction, because today millions of people wake up every morning feeling strangely disconnected from their own lives. Not because they are lazy, not because they are broken, but because modern society often treats human beings as replaceable parts inside an enormous machine. Workers, consumers, statistics, profiles, data, useful, but deeply disconnected. And the terrifying part is that most people no longer notice it happening. They call it adulthood. From childhood, people are prepared for this system long before they understand it. You sit still in classrooms for years learning how to follow schedules, complete tasks, obey instructions, and suppress boredom. You are rewarded for conformity, punished for disruption. The child who questions too much becomes difficult. The child who adapts becomes successful. And slowly people internalize a dangerous belief. Their value depends on productivity, not humanity, not creativity, not individuality, productivity. This conditioning follows people into adulthood. Wake up, commute, work, consume distractions, sleep, repeat, over and over, until life starts feeling automated. Kafka understood this psychological horror better than almost anyone. His characters are often trapped inside systems that feel impossible to escape. Systems with rules nobody fully understands. Systems that reduce human beings into powerless objects. And what makes Kafka terrifying is not the absurdity, it is the familiarity. Because modern life often feels exactly like that. People spend decades working jobs they secretly hate just to survive inside systems they never chose. Many wake up exhausted before the day even begins, not physically, existentially, a kind of spiritual fatigue, the feeling that your life belongs to something else. And maybe the most disturbing part is this: the machine does not even need to force people anymore. People discipline themselves, they optimize themselves, monitor themselves, compare themselves, exploit themselves. Modern society convinced people that burnout is ambition, that exhaustion is success, that constantly being busy means your life matters. So people sacrifice sleep, relationships, health, and peace just to remain valuable in the eyes of a system that would replace them within weeks if they disappeared. And deep down, many people know this. That is why so many feel emotionally numb, because there is something deeply unnatural about living like a machine while pretending to feel alive. Kafka explored this idea brutally in The Metamorphosis. Gregor Samsa wakes up transformed into an insect, and what horrifies him most is not his condition. It is the fact that his worth immediately disappears once he can no longer work. His humanity becomes irrelevant. His usefulness was the only thing keeping him valuable. And maybe that story feels uncomfortable because modern society quietly teaches the same lesson. As long as you produce, you matter. As long as you perform, you deserve respect. As long as you remain functional, people tolerate your existence. But the moment you slow down, struggle, collapse, or stop being useful, many people discover how conditional society's respect truly is. That realization destroys people psychologically, because humans were never meant to exist only as economic functions. Yet modern life pushes people further away from themselves every year. People barely sit alone with their own thoughts anymore. Silence feels uncomfortable. Stillness feels unproductive. Everything must be optimized. Even rest becomes performance. People track sleep, track productivity, track calories, track habits. Every moment becomes measurable. And when life becomes entirely measurable, something deeply human begins to disappear. Mystery, presence, meaning. Kafka's world was terrifying because individuals became trapped inside cold systems too large to fight. But today, the system is even more powerful because it exists psychologically. People no longer need chains. They carry the system inside their minds. Even free time becomes consumption. Open your phone for 5 minutes and suddenly an hour disappears. Algorithms decide what people see, think about, fear, desire, and compare themselves to. Modern attention itself has become industrialized. Human focus is now a resource being harvested constantly, and most people do not resist because distraction feels easier than confronting emptiness. That may be one of the darkest truths about modern life. Many people are not overworked only because society demands it. They are overworked because silence would force them to confront themselves. And that confrontation is terrifying, because underneath all the routines and distractions, many people secretly feel lost. They followed every instruction society gave them. Study hard, get a stable job, work constantly, stay productive. And yet many still feel empty. Why? Because survival is not the same thing as living. Kafka understood that modern systems slowly separate people from their humanity, not all at once. Gradually, so gradually, that people normalize it. People normalize emotional exhaustion, normalize depression, normalize loneliness, normalize staring at screens for 10 hours a day, normalize feeling disconnected from reality, and eventually, people stop asking whether life should feel this way at all. They simply adapt. That adaptation is what makes modern systems so effective. A prison becomes invisible once people believe it is normal. And maybe that is why so many individuals feel guilty whenever they stop being productive. They cannot relax without anxiety. They cannot rest without feeling lazy, because their identity has fused with usefulness. Without productivity, they no longer know who they are. This creates a terrifying psychological condition. People become strangers to themselves. Many do not even know what they genuinely enjoy anymore outside of distraction. When was the last time most people sat alone without music, notifications, entertainment, or stimulation? Without escaping, without consuming, without performing? Modern life leaves almost no space for genuine self-reflection. And maybe that is intentional, because distracted people are easier to manage. Exhausted people are easier to control. People constantly chasing survival rarely have enough energy left to question the systems surrounding them. Kafka's stories often contain faceless authority figures, distant systems, invisible power structures, but today, authority became even more abstract. Algorithms influence emotions. Corporations influence identity. Social media influences self-worth, and most people willingly participate because the system offers small rewards. Entertainment, convenience, temporary validation, enough stimulation to keep people functioning, but not enough meaning to make them feel alive. That is why modern loneliness feels so strange. People are more connected than ever digitally, yet increasingly disconnected psychologically. Many people do not feel seen as human beings anymore. They feel processed, evaluated constantly by numbers, followers, income, views, productivity, status. Everything becomes performance metrics, and eventually people begin treating themselves the same way. Their own inner voice becomes mechanical. Am I productive enough? Successful enough? Efficient enough? Rarely. Am I alive? Am I fulfilled? Am I becoming who I truly am? Kafka understood that one of the greatest horrors imaginable is not physical suffering. It is becoming trapped inside a life that no longer feels human. And maybe that is the hidden tragedy of modern existence. Millions of people are surviving without ever truly living, not because they lack intelligence, but because the system trained them to confuse functionality with meaning, to confuse productivity with identity, to confuse distraction with happiness. And perhaps the cruelest part is that truly escaping this mindset feels dangerous, because once a person stops blindly participating, questions begin appearing. Questions modern life tries very hard to suppress. Why am I doing this? Who benefits from my exhaustion? Why do I feel guilty when resting? Why does life feel emotionally distant even when I achieve things? And perhaps the biggest question of all, if society stopped rewarding your productivity tomorrow, who would you be without it? That question terrifies many people because they have spent their entire lives becoming useful instead of becoming themselves. Kafka once showed a world where humans became insects inside giant systems. But maybe the modern world created something even darker, people who still look human on the outside, while internally feeling completely replaceable. Subscribe for more revelations, because knowledge is power.